Hello, everyone out there in Facebook land. So today I'm going to be doing another episode of my podcast, the Sentimental Sensation, where we talk about music and the significance and the impact it has on our day-to-day lives. So yeah, today we were ideally going to meet up to do this, but obviously because of the COVID restrictions, we've been forced to do it online. I thought it might be kind of a fun thing to do this episode live for a change rather than just doing an audio version as well. So here we are. So hopefully you guys enjoy this session. So today I have my friend Dewey with me, or Jeewaka, as his full name is. Yeah, so tell us a little about yourself, Dewey.
Okay. Hi. I'm Jeewaka. 28 years young. So, obviously, the reason I'm here is here to talk about music.
Yeah.
And we're talking about. So it's not just music. There's much more to it.
Well, we want to talk about I guess the impact music can have on our lives. So that's kind of our main goal here.
Wasn't the best introduction, but there's been worse.
Well, I figured I'd let you introduce yourself rather than me be like, "Oh,
sure,
hey, this is my friend." But yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
What brings me here is I've been graciously invited by the great George Hall to talk about
me so much.
music. and why the music I listen to means a lot to me, and how it's shaped me as a person.
For sure, yeah. So for those unaware, this episode is called Electronic Music. So yeah, we're just going to be talking about all kinds of music that might include techno and any of the kind of I guess genres you associate with that. So it's a fairly anything electronical, I guess, is what our topic today is. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So with electronic music, it's a very diverse and eclectic genre. So it's there's many subsets of it. So like you have let's see, like so I think earlier, like we were talking about, we do techno. So techno is one subset of electronic music.
Yeah.
Now, so I've been growing up a lot with that music. So I think like
could you kind of, for the audience that aren't aware of this kind of sort of genre, could you kind of fill us in what I guess the genres are, and kind of a bit of background about the whole, I guess, concept of electronic music? If you're happy to do it. Or just kind of like what kind of, I guess, what makes like electronic music unique, I guess, compared to other genres.
Yeah, sure, yes. So that's the thing, because that's the thing. Electronic music, it has many components, but what makes it unique is, I guess, the types of how do I say, like the types.
Sure. Variation.
Also, sorry, I'm a bit blank.
Take your time. I mean, we could always talk about like some of your favorite tracks if you wanted, or
yeah. Sure. Okay. So I've been listening to a lot of electronic music growing up. So I would say at least I've been listening to it since I was 5 years old.
Yeah, right.
When it comes to that, I would say my older siblings were a big influence. I think it's hard for me to say which genre of electronic music in that sense I listen to. I would say I was listening to electronica, so I was listening to for those of you who are, I guess, those who are old enough to remember music from 1998. You remember the great classic "Music Sounds Better with You" by Stardust, or Thomas Bangalter, so he's a member of Daft Punk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say that's definitely, obviously it was a very popular track, it was a great classic, but it was definitely one of the formative tracks that got me interested in that genre. I mean, I still listen to it every now and then as of today. But I'd say one of those genres I was really into was, so I think I'll say about primary school. I don't exactly remember when. I'm guessing about 6 or 7. I was introduced to trance music. Now, for me, it's just cool music, just cool music. But no one else is listening to it. But it had its meaning to me. Like, it's more of so going back to your original question about what makes it so unique.
Sure, yeah.
It's the composition. It's how the music is composed. So
yeah.
So I've been listening to. So this is the thing, like trance branches off into so many different subgenres. So you have progressive trance. There's obviously hard trance, the doof stuff. So progressive is more melodic. That's where.
Yeah.
So that's where let's say so we.
You ever heard of Road Traders?
Road Traders?
Yeah.
I've heard of them, I don't think I've listened to them.
Yeah, they're Australian. I'm pretty sure they're electronica band from from the 90s, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think what their most well-known one is, they did, I think it's called Voodoo Child, where it's like, do, 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 do. You are my
Voodoo Child, yes. Yeah, I know.
My Voodoo Child.
Yeah. No, I know about that.
Yeah, they're pretty good artists. I quite like listening to them growing up. Those are probably the only band I could probably think of that was, as far as I'm aware, was electronic.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It kind of sounds like kind of garage rock metal sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm probably not correct there. I'm probably not correct, but yeah.
I mean, I feel like what it's classified as a genre could be very diverse, I guess. But I think wherever I saw it, the classification was electronica, but you could probably also call it like house music and stuff, because that's kind of in the same forte, right?
House music. So house. Okay, so house music. That's actually a genre of music I really like. So I've been recently, over the past, I'd say over the past 5 years, I've been getting into a genre called deep house.
Oh yeah.
So deep house is, so you know how house, it's kind of like trance and techno, but I guess the melody isn't so intense.
Yeah, right. Okay.
The beat melody, it's not so intense. So that's actually a thing. So I guess for all the technophiles out there,
is that the name for your group?
No.
No. Okay. Just.
I guess. Okay. So, one of the biggest reasons you hear the doof doof is there's a thing called beats per minute. So,
okay. Yeah.
So your typical like hard beat, trance genre, you'd probably get up to like close to like at least probably get around 180 to 200 beats per minute.
Yeah. Okay. Hence why it's so kind of repetitive and fast.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's it's also common in another genre of trance called psychedelic trance.
Okay, yeah.
Psychedelic. It's known for like its fast beats. Has very hypnotic. You can even say it's really hypnotic.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
The cadence of the music.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So I was into that for a while. Like for me, like I think I started listening to it about 2014. So it was just more me just randomly scrolling through the internet. I think about like 2017.
Sure. Yeah.
Really going to it. So for those of you who listen to psytrance, I downloaded a lot of music from this site called Ectoplasm.
Okay.
So that was, yeah, I found a lot of interesting stuff. Otherwise, just so just YouTube. You can even, I think even some of these artists, they do pop on Spotify as well.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember like, what else I listened to? There's Infected Mushroom.
Okay.
To name at least one, I don't remember the rest.
Sure. Yeah.
That's one of the genres. So,
Yeah.
that's one. So that's actually one of. So normally with psychedelic trance, it can be anywhere between 150 to 200 beats per minute, but like the really intense beats get close to about 190 to 200 beats per minute.
Yeah. So, right. Okay. Wow.
I guess for me, like it was more of a phase than anything else. Like I also kind of did enjoy it.
I think we all had our phases in high school.
Not just high school, even as a young adult, you know.
Sure, yeah, but
you're still in your formative years. You're most likely.
I'll just kind of say like we kind of go through phases in life. Not to say
absolutely, yeah.
You can't like continue the streak from high school and beyond. But I mean, I'm sure there's music I listened to high school that I still do now. But I think my tastes have somewhat changed since then. Or evolved, I should say.
I mean, like, I could have like a midlife crisis. I just start getting into
all emo metal, and just like start dressing.
Pretty much. Yeah. I just completely lose it. I don't know what I do. Yeah. Like, I can go on a major trip.
Yeah. Go on a trap trip.
No. Even on some statin.
Yeah. I mean, do you know much about trap music?
Yes, I do. Yes. Okay, so so for those wondering, it's an amalgamation of the term techno rap. I do listen to some, but I'm generally not the biggest fan. But
okay.
I've listened to some in recent years. So I've listened to so I've been getting into a lot of instrumental hip hop. That's something I've been into since I was 2015. So one of the artists that really inspired me to listen to that was a Japanese hip hop artist called Nujabes.
Okay.
So he tragically passed away in a traffic accident in 2010. But he inspired me. He really inspired me to get into the genre of instrumental hip hop. So that falls into the subcategory of electronic music. So
okay, right.
So some of the tracks have lyrics, but usually they don't have lyrics. But it's not about the lyrics. It's about the meaning it conveys.
Okay, so like the kind of feel of the music.
Exactly, the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the instrumentals tell its own story. There may not be lyrics, but it tells its own story. When you listen to it closely, it tells its own story.
For sure, yeah.
Like I
was just gonna say, I feel like music's very good at like portraying that, like telling a story and whatnot, even with or without lyrics.
Yeah, that's what I've come to appreciate about that's what I've come to appreciate about non-lyrical music.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes you don't need lyrics for music to convey meaning.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
how it makes you feel.
Yeah, exactly. Like not just makes you feel, like even the producers are conveying their own story.
Sure. With the way they kind of produce a track and edit it in certain ways. Yeah.
But I even like I found that stuff very calming to listen to when I study because when there's music with no lyrics, I can actually focus on
Yeah, because
work.
you're not distracted by what they're trying to say.
Yeah. But in my
What
mind,
does this
it's
mean? I don't
in my
understand.
mind the meaning. Like I'm just like that. Me comprehending the meaning. It's just bubbling around
Yeah,
in my mind.
for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah. So yeah. So with techno rap, that's so trap. But,
Right. Okay. So that's just like
uh,
kind of like a shortened variation
yeah.
of the
Exactly. Yeah.
term, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Techno
So
rap trap. Oh, yeah.
okay. So it mostly so I was listening to this guy's music, just Java's music. And based on obviously listening on YouTube, and I get all these recommendations for all these other instrumental hip
Yeah.
hop music. So I'm also seeing. So I'm mostly listening to a lot of Japanese inspired stuff. So okay, to branch off into me even listening to like anime tracks. From
Yeah.
Studio Ghibli.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what else. Some Samurai Champloo for those who watched it. So it's
Okay.
another
Anime,
anime.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Um, it's I'm not a weeaboo, but um I appreciate
For
the
those
I
that
do
are
it, but
unaware of the term, that's people obsessed with anime, right?
yes, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they not just obsessed, they live and breed it.
Yeah.
But
True. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but let's not do
Yeah,
it.
don't worry about that. But I just thought I'd clear it up for anyone listening who was unsure what that meant. As you were, carry on.
Yeah. So um, now, so I was listening to so it inspired me to listen to a lot of instrumental hip hop created by independent producers.
Okay.
It inspired me to listen to their work. Now, from that, I branched off into these recommendations for ambient music. I've been listening to ambient music for a long time. I think all of us have. Like we all come
Yeah,
across it at some point,
it's
one
good
way or
for
another. But
studying, like you said, I think. Yeah.
absolutely, oh,
Or if you just want a
absolutely.
kind of calming atmosphere, it's good for that kind of thing. Or whatever,
So,
meditation, maybe. I don't know if people use it for that kind of thing.
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's optimal for meditation. So I branched me off into a YouTuber who produces instrumental music. This artist produces these hour-long compilations. I think produce them every day. For those of you who are interested, the YouTuber's name is Bloom. Check it out. Um,
Cool.
I'll be sending my host the link to his channel if you
Yeah,
guys want to
yeah.
look.
I'll always try to make sure that whatever like music and artists we talk about that we will get whatever artists and songs we talk about so that people if are interested they can look up. So yeah.
So yeah, that'll be in the link of his next podcast.
Hopefully, yeah. So if I can convert this into an audio file, but we'll see how I go.
I appreciate. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. So whatever it is, I found it. I found it calming to listen to. So I wouldn't just listen. So obviously, I started listening to it when I was at uni studying, but
Yeah,
I also listen on my drives because it's very
calming.
it has a very calming ambience,
Yeah,
And I guess to me, it reminds me, I guess, of being in a very like calm and somber environment.
right. Yeah.
Even I even as odd as it sounds, I get I feel how to say so I feel like I'm in a very melancholic state when I'm listening to it. Like now that can obviously convey a lot of mixed emotions, but even the negative emotions, it kind of this music how do I say like even though sometimes this type of music can can bring back, I guess, a lot of negative memories.
Yeah.
I guess, strangely enough, I don't know. It's like, even though it just brings up a whole heap of mixed emotions, but I don't know. I just feel peace when I listen to it.
Yeah,
it just
for
shows,
sure.
It just shows like things in life happen. It's like just it's when it happens. Just these things are gonna happen. Just you gotta just live for the moment.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what I think music's pretty good at, kind of at least portraying that kind of vibe of like, like this is awesome.
Not just awesome. It conveys the vibe of many of the just environments, different states of mind.
For sure.
I feel like each. I feel like See, that's what I found. That's what I find unique about when I listen. That's what I find unique when I listen to electronic music. Like, I find when the different compositions, they convey different states. So obviously when I'm listening to something more upbeat, obviously I'm going to feel positive emotions.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
that's expected.
Music's good at doing it.
I was listening to a lot of ambient stuff. So even one of my a trance artists I've listened to. So for those who listen to trance, you may be familiar with the artist of Above and Beyond. So they do more progressive trance. So they've recently started making ambient music. So I'll get the compilation. So. Okay, so there's an album by Above and Beyond which was released I think a few years back. It's called Flow State. So I was listening to that on the plane. So now, hey, so right, so now that actually. So you have a listen to the album, at least this is my own opinion, at least.
Okay, sure, yeah. I mean, I'm keen to
as a very melancholy vibe. It makes me feel peace.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it had its own symbolic meaning to me. So when I was listening to this particular album, I'll be sending him the link of the album. Okay, so this particular album, so it was on my last flight before, I guess, the COVID pandemic became serious.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Okay. Shit.
All good.
Okay.
But you were saying when you went for
yes.
Yeah.
Right.
All good. Take your time.
Okay, so it's just, it may seem weird to some, like the way that I perceive the meaning of this music, but
okay.
It made me feel at peace, but it also conveyed kind of, I guess, it conveyed a very it conveyed also internally a very menacing emotion in me. So
interesting.
So you know the saying, the calm before the storm?
Yeah.
It conveyed that meaning. So I was listening to the full album on pretty much my last ever flight before the pandemic got serious.
Yeah, until got grounded, that's it.
Yeah, so okay, for those of you wondering, okay, I'm a huge aviation. I'm an aviation enthusiast. I like flying. I actually like flying. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's just like I knew that that pandemic was getting pretty bad around then, but I didn't realize that it would get that serious, that things would get grounded for years. Just
Yeah.
when I listen to that album and I look back at what happened in retrospect,
Okay. Yeah.
it just made me realize how much the world has changed. Just, how am I allowed to swear on this?
I don't know. I mean, I'd probably discourage it, but
Okay, fine. Fine. I'll tone down. I'll tone down my language. I'll tone down.
Cool.
My language. Okay. Right. Okay. It just things. It made me when I look like I'm listening to that album again about a few months later, but especially I think when we're in our second wave. We're like Melbourne.
Yeah.
Melbourne. Like, we're in the second lockdown.
Back in Australia.
So for those who are in Melbourne, even if you're observing our situation around the world,
Yeah.
you realize how bad things really got in Melbourne. And not just that, I'm looking at the situation all over the world. It's just
For sure,
we're not in a good place, you know.
Very
We're in a
definitely not. Yeah.
We're in a really chaotic and new world, you know.
Unfortunately.
Things are gonna change, you know, like this could be our life for many years, you know. Things are going down.
Fingers crossed, but you never know.
Hopefully. It just made it so it felt like, you know, the calm before the storm. So like, there's a pandemic still bubbling up. This is, for reference, this was mid-February of 2020.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Even in January, so like this is when the pandemic started. So things are starting to bubble up, but like, you know, it's just, so it probably was just a thing people thought, you know, only happening in Asia. But in reality, thing is, this stuff was, it was just bubbling around the background in other countries. We just don't know about it. It's just, it was, okay, the point is, it conveyed to me that it was the calm, like when I look back in retrospect, just listening to that track, it felt like the calm before the storm.
Okay, yeah. I see what you mean, yeah.
It just, symbolically, it meant to me that, you know, things are just about to get a lot worse.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But as odd as it sounds, I can't. I'm enthralled by it. I just can't stop listening to it, even if it conveys negative emotion. I just can't stop listening because it just. I guess it just makes me realize maybe I'm stuck in a loop. Who knows? I can't feasibly explain it. If I somehow explain it at the end of this podcast, well done.
Sure. We'll have cracked some mental issues you've got going on.
You can perhaps crack the code.
you know, some in-depth thing that's going on in your brain. But anyway.
There's also another track. There's another track actually I listened to. It's another compilation actually. So there's this Italian producer. So they made this album called Corona Wave. I'll see if I can find it. I think I'm trying to remember what platform it was, but this particular artist was struggling financially due to lockdown. So for those wondering, Italy had a really bad wave at the start of the pandemic. I think a lot of people died as well. Like I think there's a place called Bergamo, so that was hit the worst at the start of the pandemic.
Yeah.
There's this artist who's producing this compilation music called Corona Waves. It kind of conveys different stages of the pandemic. This is not electronic track, for those wondering.
Yeah, for sure,
It's kind of like, how would I describe it? It's glitch hop, I guess. Glitch, trip hop.
Well, for those that don't... Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, like, if you could describe what it means, but yeah, I think you were just about to.
It's kind of like it's like electronic. It's electronic music, but what did I say?
I mean, is there like a specific sound or something that you like would associate it with it, or like
Yeah,
a
so
certain beat or something?
So I'm trying to explain.
Yeah, all good. I mean, if it's too hard to explain, don't worry about it. I mean, it doesn't have to be like too in depth. Like if you got a simple explanation for it.
It's kind of like glitchy. What I say? It's like
so there's an element of like a glitch in there, like of sort of just stuttering.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's the electronic sounds, but they're distorted. It's distorted tracks.
Yeah, deliberately.
Forgive my explanation. I don't really.
That's all good.
It's not the best explanation. Like I'd still need to look it up. But
I'm not expecting you to have like a world class
yeah, but it's very. I guess what they do is they take things from I guess they kind of take things from original tracks and then they distort the music. So in this case, it's not that kind of thing, but it's an original track, but
yeah,
the artist has cleverly produced it in a way that it conveys a certain meaning.
Okay,
again, I'll be sending this compilation to the host, so you can post it on his video. Yeah.
I like my music. Give me more.
Yeah, get around and publish all your music.
I'll be the wide spreader of all musical genres that anyone's ever heard of before.
Yeah. So anyway, this is a week before. I think we started. This is about a week before. I think the travel ban started being enacted in Australia. So this is around the time of the toilet paper rush in Australia.
Yeah.
People just
good old toilet paper.
Yeah, people just going completely crazy. Like, but you knew things were starting to get bad, but like, I don't know. Like, I was aware, but I guess this was kind of still in a state of mental denial. It's just like, oh, it can't be this bad.
Yeah, I think a lot of us were.
I was like, it can't be as bad as SARS. Can't be as bad as SARS back in 2003.
Other places, yeah. Can't be as bad as.
I mean, I still have memories of that from my childhood, but turns out this is much greater scale.
Yeah, this is like a worldwide thing. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Also, yeah, on the topic of music, and just kind of let's not talk about too much for Corona.
Yeah, probably a good idea. I doubt anyone listening wants to hear about Corona, especially if you're living in Australia right now, and specifically in Melbourne.
Yeah. So, also, like, even around that time, I was listening to this. So I also listened to this other type of music. So I started listening to this stuff first, I think around 2015, 2016. It's called Vaporwave.
Okay, yeah, right.
Vaporwave. Yeah, for those of you wondering what Vaporwave is, so it's kind of nostalgia music. So it's mainly derived from music from like from the 70s, 80s, 90s. So
yeah.
It's kind of it kind of mashes up original tracks and sounds and then into
kind of like, bring back those memories.
Yeah, it's nostalgic music. Exactly, yeah. So it brings back, so it's kind of I guess distorted musical clips from nostalgia videos and even mashups. So,
sure, yeah.
So you even have things from like different movies and all that. Like I'll probably say one of the first artists I listened to that started that Australian artist called Pogo.
Okay.
So it's not specifically vaporwave, but it's called trip hop.
Yeah. Okay. Trip hop. Yeah. Okay.
So he did a lot of videos from his favorite childhood games and movies, TV shows.
Yeah.
So he's done Now he did so he did one I'm trying to remember he did a music he did a music clip for a personal favorite of mine when I was growing up called Croc 2 or
Right. Yeah.
The Croc series. Yeah, Croc series.
Oh yeah.
That was a personal favorite of mine growing up. So this guy,
The video game.
yep, video game, yep. So,
Video.
that was released in 1997. So it's Legend of Gobos.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And then 1999, Croc 2. So
Okay.
those are games I really enjoyed as a kid. So this guy back on the topic. So this guy,
Sure.
he actually he made these like he made these music he made these songs based on I guess things from his childhood really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sampling music from that era, I guess.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
he's done a song like so he did one on what Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
So he's kind of distorted the track, but it's still kind of I think it conveys the meaning of his childhood.
Okay.
I think it's
Interesting
the things
sound
he
to go
enjoyed.
with.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about music, I guess if we're talking about music in our childhood, I would say like you look at something like that. I'd say that's a pretty good inspiration to base your music around.
Yeah.
For those who are budding artists, it's like, I mean, like, you should keep your mind open to many things.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's worth having a look at, right?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of us would probably be able to hear like a specific sound from like a video game or something and be like, brings back all those memories kind of thing. But if you hear the Mario theme or something.
Exactly. I could go on for this. I could go on.
Yeah.
If that's like,
but
the point is, this guy, he's done a lot of edited video. He's done a lot of musical videos based on what I believe he would have come across growing up.
Okay, yeah.
You want to convey that. So this brings me back to vaporwave. So vaporwave is, I guess, kind of nostalgia music, but it was populated. So it was made popular by like memers. Like
I
guess they just like to be ironic and just kind of make fun of things. But I realized also it got really popular around the U.S. election. So I know a lot of Trump supporters really liked doing that. They really
oh my god!
Vaporwave was actually commonly used among Trump supporters.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Interesting.
They actually tried to use that to try and glorify Donald Trump.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is commonly used in places like you probably will come across it on YouTube at some point.
Sure. Yeah.
So, like I can tell you guys like one of the artists. Like there's many different artists who produce this stuff, but one of the known ones is Saint Pepsi.
Pepsi. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if I'm to say if it conveys any meaning, I guess I listen to it. Like I guess I had a phase where I was just like you go on these different pages and then people just trying to be ironic, just and even like edgy, like just like like I want to relive things the way.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to relive my life in this era. So, we all talk about it. Like we all want to relive our childhood as some of our formative years, growing up. Like it's just a thing.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, like, how do I say it's we all talk about nostalgia. Like, thing is, why does it make us happy? Why does reliving a childhood make us happy? I don't know. Like, this thing is like that's the thing. Like, we're adults.
I was probably just gonna say because it probably brings us back to a simpler time where we didn't have to worry about finances and taxes and pretty much everything was looked after us by our parents, so we pretty much were free reign in that sense.
Life, death, and taxes.
Yeah, pretty much. The
Anyway,
envy of every adult.
yeah, I think even in like I reckon like say we become parents, we have kids eventually. Like I won't be surprised. We look back at our years in our 20s with great fondness. Like for us, like
No responsibilities.
yeah. I mean, like you look back
No
at the early
kids to look
20s.
after.
You look back at the early 20s, like it's just like things are so much simpler then. Like we try and
Yeah, for
relive that
sure.
era. Like funny thing is like. I think it was kind of like I guess it's kind of like a nostalgia revival sort of thing. It was a trend going on. Like even recently, I found out like there was this Japanese artist from the '80s who was a part of this whole revivalist trend in 2016. I recently found that out. So Maria Takuji. So I think she's a J-pop artist. But a lot of these internet memers, they're trying. They were trying to do like kind of I guess they're trying to create like a revival of it. So they were
A revival.
I guess they were sharing the music far and wide, trying to make it popular.
Yeah, sure.
She ended up trending quite well on the internet as well. Apparently, like
yeah.
I didn't find this out till later, but it turns out this was the case.
Yeah, right. Kind of funny.
Like she's a 60. Now this is not electronic music, but it kind of goes back to vaporwave. So a vaporwave is one form of electronic music. So that's another thing. Like it brings that so people are just trying to revive all kinds of things. Like
yeah, for sure. A lot of genres that aren't as popular anymore.
But mostly it's not really like. I mean, the fact that it's conveying a positive light of things in the 80s, I guess, is subjective to your own opinion. But otherwise,
there's a lot going on there.
Otherwise, it's actually mocking a lot of bad practices we did. So, like, such as
yeah.
So I guess it was kind of insulting things like capitalism, consumerism.
Sure, yeah.
So it was ironic. I guess it was kind of poking fun at bad consumer habits.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I guess the way it's conveyed, like, I mean, you may interpret it as that, but that's very much subjective to your own opinion.
Sure. Yeah.
While we're here, also came across these like things like so on the topic of like people using memes to make music. So even like a week before the pandemic, I came across this North Korean genre of music. It's electronic music. It's kind of a revival of it's a revival of songs that that have been actually generated by North Korean artists.
Okay, sure, yeah, right.
So they have been conveyed to, I guess, portray North Korean propaganda. I guess some of them were used. So it's called Juche Wave.
Okay, Juche Wave, yeah.
I don't know if any of you guys would be interested in listening to it, but it's fascinating. It's fascinating that people actually have this fascination with generation.
Well, people have fascination with a lot of strange things, so. What makes them unique, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just again, it has lyrics, but it still falls under the umbrella of electronic music. So people, I guess, were making that music ironically.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Yeah, kind of funny that.
Yeah. know it's kind of a weird topic to talk about, but
For sure,
but
yeah.
still,
I
but
mean,
it's still a very formative part of my musical experience.
yeah, for sure, yeah.
People basically using music as a form of memes.
Yeah. What is there anything they can't do?
Oh, it's kind of makes. I mean, I guess you can save the memes part for another episode. I guess.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I know who I'd talk about the music with, but I suppose you seem to know a bit about it.
I don't know everything about it. I just told you as much as I do know.
Yeah, I mean, I know the odd track that, people be like,
You
oh, I
probably
know
would have.
that meme.
You might have even come across it at some point. I reckon.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, anyway.
Always find a way of coming across these kind of things.
Yeah, exactly.
The internet's one crazy place. So.
Oh yeah, that's what's that's on that actually. So that's a very good point.
Yeah,
the internet. See, that's the thing. Like, internet has helped me. The internet has really helped me to find all these different kinds of music. Like, that.
which you probably would have found if it hadn't been for the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
pretty good in that sense.
Yeah. Also, kind of brings us back to another thing, like.
Yeah.
So, people talk about like big data, artificial intelligence, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, thing is like our life in general, internet is a place for discovery and self-learning.
Sure.
And also, I guess.
Bad memes. And bad memes.
Yeah.
Also, very good.
Lots and lots of memes. But it's also a place for. It's also. It kind of also conveys how consumer interest is changing. So it kind of goes to show that our mindsets have barely changed. Internet is just another platform for us to continue, I guess, our same mindsets of marketing and consumerism, really. So
for sure.
See, when you're on the internet, like you look at a video.
Yeah.
You look at a video, and then now you look at one video. Now, Facebook, YouTube, whatever you use, TikTok, whatever. Yeah. They'll recommend you probably maybe 10 more other videos. Now, that just keeps going and going, right? So think of it this way. Think of it like a branch that just keeps spreading out and spreading out. That's
just keep making more like leaves and stuff.
It'll just grow enough until it makes a whole forest.
Pretty much, yeah, until it becomes like almost uncontrollable.
The point is it's just there's just so much. The internet just recommends you there's just so many things available on the internet, and then not just that, it just points you, it just shows you, recommends you so many different things based on what you like, what you listen to, what you even talk about,
Yeah, true.
It picks up on these things like this artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So it uses, our data has always been mined, It's like, think about it. Think about it, watching TV growing up before we started using computers or before internet became widespread. Ads were always a way for us. TV ads were always a way for people to be convinced into buying a product. Now, people now. It's not even ads. Obviously, when you watch a video on YouTube or Facebook, they always try and interject the video with ads. It's just
how they get their money.
Yeah, exactly. Creators want their creators,
They need some form of payment. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. But it's not just that. It's kind of how do I say? It's kind of covert advertising when you recommended all these. You recommended at least like 10 different videos from one video that you
Yeah.
watch, and then
Right.
you recommended
Okay.
another. Like you recommended another 30 and another 40. It just keeps going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
The point is, it's kind of I guess indirect marketing, but
Sure. Yeah.
I found this. To I guess help me to develop my musical taste in a way,
Okay.
even if it is mining my data. But I guess in a way, like it's more. I guess in a way, it's more. I guess advertising is a bit more tailor made.
For sure. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
our minds will adapt, and likewise, marketing methods will adapt. And
Yeah.
who knows how music will be marketed to us in the future? You know, this is
Very
just
true. Yeah.
it's just one way of marketing music.
I was thinking about that episode of Futurama where he has the advert streamed into his dreams for the light briefs. Maybe one day we'll have like that, you know. We'll be sleeping and it'll be like, you know, while we're sleeping, it'll be adverts, you know, in our dreams kind of thing.
Yeah. Yes.
That'd be pretty funny. Well, probably not ideal, but anyway. See how the world goes, I guess.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's such an interesting thing, you know.
Yeah, how will marketing evolve?
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll learn about
that. Watch out for those microchips, people.
Yeah. Put the marketing skills to use.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So.
I know we're both big fans of the Sandstorm.
Yep, Darude Sandstorm.
Yeah, good classic 90s dance track.
Yep, that's right. It's funny, actually. I'm trying to remember I'm trying to remember how that became popular. I think it was like this. It was a website or a game. How it became popular. I think it was League of Legends. I'm not sure. I have to confirm it, but I think it was. So it became popular in League of Legends. So like people are just trying to spam. So people are just spamming like people on like in-game chat.
Yeah, because I remember I watched the video where the guy talked about how like it became really successful, and he mentioned
you said that to me. You said
this one League of Legends guy that basically blew it out of the water in that sense, and everyone knew about the track. Funny how something as simple as that could just massive marketing right there.
Yeah, funny that actually. So there's actually this term for LOL. There's another term for LOL. So do you know much? Do you know? So so for those who probably know, like there's a game called StarCraft.
Yeah.
No, it's not StarCraft. It's World of Warcraft.
Yeah. WoW.
Wow. Yeah. So there's this alternative term for LOL that became really popular so it actually started through World of Warcraft. So it's called Kek.
Yeah.
Another way of saying LOL. So I did a bit of deep. So I found it on a few pages I was on as well. So people like to use it.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, a lot of Donald Trump supporters like to use it as well to promote the propaganda. But
for sure,
I did a bit of investigating. What I found was really interesting. So it turned I was really surprised that Kek actually is a common. It technically is of Korean origin. I was very surprised to find that out. I thought it was based on this Turkish biscuit called Top Kek.
yeah.
Which is another meme use.
Okay.
But I found out actually it's Korean. They even have their own symbol for it. They have their own Korean character for it as well.
Oh,
which I found really interesting. Which I found really interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I was learning the language for a bit. My skills aren't very good, but I was learning the scripture, and I just found that out. It was a really interesting discovery. So,
For sure.
I don't know how we got here, but
Well, like I said, I'm happy to take it anywhere, really. As long as we stay focused on music in some form or the other.
yeah. So, okay, yeah, that's so. Yeah, so so I got that. So, yeah, so I think I'm kind of completely straight off in my own
Oh, I don't
little
know, man.
rambling here.
I mean, that's part of the show, I guess, just seeing where the conversation goes
For sure,
and
absolutely, yeah,
following it.
absolutely.
I mean, obviously, we want to talk about the main topic, but I'm not saying we can't talk about anything else like memes or something, you know?
Anyway, yeah. So, anyway, the point is, these memes actually very much link back to music. So memes,
Sure,
funny because so meme is basically like a stereotype that propagates itself. So music is one way for so music is definitely one way for a meme to propagate itself through.
yeah.
People. So basically, so a lot of like popular memes have somehow found their way through music.
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to certain songs very carefully, like they would have, I guess, incorporated its own meme of some sort. Even people who
Yeah.
use music, even people who use music as meme, like you know this all too well.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking of that song, What's Up by, I think it's Four Non Blondes that goes, hey, hey, and it's got the He-Man where you go, I said, hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
That's like a
exactly. So
big one.
yeah, exactly. They use pop culture references in a way that's,
Yeah.
I guess, in a way that's a meme. That's a meme in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also brings back like the song that's, like 20 years old and people all of a sudden like, hey, I like this song even though it came out like, 20 odd years ago. So
Which kind of brings me to like, I don't know if you can talk about it here, but like you look at movies like in the most recent decades, a lot of them are, a lot of people, a lot of producers are just trying to revive series from some like 10, 20 years ago.
yeah, I've noticed that a lot. Yeah.
I don't know,
It
it's
could be a
just I would say
nostalgia thing.
like my personal opinion is I have mixed feelings about why they did it. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you relive as part of your childhood, but you may relive part of an era that you enjoy, but I don't know. In a way, I feel like just I don't know, just come up with
Stay
something
away
new.
from that. Yeah, exactly.
Not
Yeah.
that. Just no. Just like make your own legacy for yourself. Just
Yeah. I think the Hollywood's
you
honestly
have the
running
potential
out
to do it. It's
of
just
Hollywood's probably running out of ideas, so they're just like, quick, let's bring back, I don't know, Golden Girls or something. I don't know if they have done that,
yeah.
but first thing that popped
That's
into
the
my head.
thing. Okay, am I allowed to talk about movies and TV shows on this podcast?
I don't see why not. I mean, I feel like it's more focused on music, but I don't see why we can't stray a little bit from the path.
No, I was just saying the availability of things like Netflix has actually really, I'd say, has given us a lot more, I guess, of a scope to view things from other countries.
Yeah, true. Yeah, which you
Even
probably
music,
wouldn't have otherwise.
internet has been a very powerful vice for introducing us to whole range of music. If it wasn't for internet, I would say, at least your average person. I'd say at least your average person probably like it'd be very hard to. I mean, you still can.
Yeah,
It's not to say you can't, but internet just makes it a lot easier to find just many different forms of music.
for
Like
sure. Yeah,
like
definitely. Yeah, probably a
I
lot
mean
of artists you wouldn't come across normally, I guess.
like I speak like I think I went to a trance party few months ago.
Ah, yeah,
So I was speaking to this guy like in his 40s.
yeah, okay.
He's he's telling me about he's telling me about these like trance acid house festivals he went to growing up in the 90s. Like he was a
Yeah,
young
right.
lad.
Okay, fair enough.
He just tells me that he just because it's interesting because also in that period we didn't have like internet was just starting up in the
True.
90s,
Yeah,
but we also didn't have smartphones. So like it just I feel like I don't know, it's just I mean, I don't really want to convey too many. but it's kind of a podcast. I know you want me to show my true self.
Well, I mean, you're welcome to.
I'm just saying, like, it'd be nice just to, like, I guess, just enjoy the music without just looking at your phone every like 10 or so seconds.
Yeah, it would be. It's kind of hard to do it without, like, unless you reverted back to the old days of the iPods or the MP3 players where you don't really have a screen to look at.
Or Walkman.
Or Walkman even, yeah.
Yeah, you just enjoy the atmosphere. Like, so I went to a trance festival a few months ago, back in March.
Yeah.
So it's technically at a nightclub, but
yeah, right.
now, what made it special is Melbourne's not really, at least nowadays, they don't have a really big trance scene compared to the early 2000s. They don't have a really big trance scene anymore. So it's to even find a trance club in Melbourne is literally a needle in the haystack.
Like a gold mine kind of thing, yeah.
Exactly. I would say that.
Yeah.
So I found it to be an interesting experience. So, I mean, I had my usual, like, have a few drinks, but I didn't get completely shit-faced. But what I enjoyed was, like, I didn't need to get shit-faced to enjoy the music. Okay.
Alright, it's too late, you've done it.
You can censor it when you edit it.
I could try.
Just make it child friendly. Yeah. Anyway, thing is, I didn't get completely like drunk, but
sure, yeah.
I'll say for the most part I was sober. But the thing is, I found I enjoyed the music. I actually enjoyed the music. I realized I didn't need alcohol to enjoy it. I didn't need any alcohol or any other statin to enjoy it. I just had a good time.
Sure.
The music conveyed its own meaning to me. So this is so I think we're kind of finally going back to what I was initially talking about. So the songs I was listening to was actually one of my first introductions into the trance genre. So,
okay, yeah, sure.
So that was music. That was music I listened. That was music I was listening to in my primary school years. So that was one of my formative years of listening to trance music. So how would I describe? I would describe the stuff as I guess kind of melodic trance, melodic progressive trance.
Okay, so, yeah, fair enough.
I guess in a way it conveyed its own meaning to me as well.
Yeah, sure,
yeah. So some music would obviously kind of convey, I guess, kind of like a dark negative emotions, but I couldn't help but keep listening to it because it conveyed its own meaning to me as well.
For sure, yeah. I mean, definitely, if it has impact on you, you definitely want to, I guess, keep listening to it.
Yeah, but I think it's more of how I was introduced to it as well, because like obviously I had older brothers who were young adults then, so
sure, yeah.
To go clubbing. So,
sure, yeah.
So actually since I think about October last year, I've just been really getting back into like 90s, 2000s trance, just because it's just I remember a lot of those tracks growing up. It's conveyed its own meaning. It's just like here's my childhood, you know.
This music, exactly. Yeah,
something I enjoyed, you know, because this particular event was playing music from that time.
Sure. Okay.
And not just that, I meet all these people, you know.
For sure, it's definitely a very sociable thing, I feel.
Yeah. So you meet different people. You share your experience. Like I'm young, so I like to. So I'm talking to these people like in their 30s and 40s who grew. You know, they would have been young adults. They would have been young adults listening to this stuff. You know,
for sure.
It's just interesting hearing. It's interesting hearing their stories. You know, what it means to them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, speaking of this guy, like telling me he's going to these festivals, he's done all this crazy stuff. It's just so interesting and fascinating to listen to. You know.
For sure. Yeah. It's always interesting to hear stories and things from those people from those kind of eras.
Yeah.
That impact that music had on their young lives.
For sure, yeah. Yeah. Also, yeah. So, um, it's sporadic, but I guess back to trap. So I was listening. So, that's kind of where my instrumental hip hop music started branching off into. So, started listening to ambient. Then I got into trap music as well. I got into this this trap hip hop music. So it's different to like the normal trap you hear, but it's independent producer. So it's actually based off. I guess it's kind of a guess it's kind of a remix version of what they call 90s Memphis hip hop.
Okay.
Memphis hip hop. So it's its own genre. It's from the 90s.
Yeah.
It's mainly 90s tracks. Memphis hip hop. There's many different types of hip hop. So for those wondering, I do listen to hip hop as well.
Yeah. I presume because Memphis had a pretty significant hip hop scene back in the day. I mean, I don't know if it still does.
I don't know actually. Like, Memphis isn't really a scene I knew too much about. I was very smart, but I would imagine like everywhere in America would have its own hip hop scene. Like the main common ones are like the East Coast and West Coast, like Los Angeles, New York.
Yeah.
And it's like
I mean,
you have West.
Yeah, I don't know where what's that band called? The Ice Cube was in.
Ice Cube was in LA.
Like the band he was in. Yeah, okay.
You mean NWA?
Straight out of Compton.
Yeah, it's NWA.
Yeah,
NWA.
Yeah,
so N-word with attitude.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I listened to NWA growing up. I listened to them growing up as well. Like, I would say like also hip hop was also a big part of my life growing up as well. Like, I guess I don't know if I want to bring this up. So, obviously I'm a brown guy as well.
So you're automatically inclined to like hip hop music.
Okay, it's not that. It's not really that. It's not necessarily because I'm brown. Okay. So we obviously experience a lot of racism as well.
Sure,
yeah. So I had a phase where I was kind of drawn to a lot of hip hop music because I think a lot of these people kind of, I guess they kind of conveyed. They kind of conveyed that struggle that we went through.
For sure, yeah.
Even if the messages were kind of a bit misguided.
Yeah, I think hip hop's
because you're talking about because you have to remember also at the same time a lot of these people they're basically inciting like violence and all that as well.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
But it's not the thing is, see, you gotta look past all that. You gotta look past
it. Sure,
it's not just about the violence. Like you have these people like here's one thing I really dislike. I don't like people trying to censor things. I hate people censoring things.
Yeah.
We as people should not be stifled in what we watch, what we listen to, what we say. These things are all very important to the human experience. By censoring things, you're destroying the very fabric of what makes us human.
Yeah, well, I think it's also like affecting like that part of history as well by erasing that.
Exactly.
Kind of erasing the struggles and the traumas and all the kind of negativity that a lot of African Americans were going through at the time.
It's not just that. No, it's that's one part of it. Absolutely, yeah. Like, so people. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's just that's also one thing. But I'm talking about in general. Like, in general, music is a form of expressing yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
But yes, you're absolutely right. Like hip hop was actually like, especially among like African Americans, it was used as a way to convey their struggles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not personally a huge fan of at least hip hop from like those kind of artists, but I know like some of the Australian artists like Hilltop Hoods I quite like because I feel like even 360's got some pretty in-depth lyrics, like personal in some of his songs, which I quite like.
Yeah. On the topic of hip hop, I might actually bring up some artists. So, like, I've actually started listening to like these artists. Like, I was listening to them. Like, I think I think just after I finished high school, actually, a few years after I finished high school.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
they talk about these really interesting topics,
Sure, yeah.
but nonetheless they convey their own meaning. Like, I was listening to this artist called Cool Keith. He's from the '90s.
Okay.
Cool Keith. So he has this alter ego called Doctor Octagon.
Okay, yeah, right.
So he talks about these like sci-fi topics, like these different realities. Like,
Okay, yeah.
they're very futuristic tracks. They're very futuristic. They're quite explicit as well. Like,
Okay,
I'll send him.
yeah, right.
I'll send him a link to his album as well. I'll send him a link to that
Sure,
album.
thanks. Yeah.
So that it's called Doctor Gynecologist
I'm the kind
by
of
Doctor
college.
Octagon.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
It kind of sounds a bit strange, I know. But
Yeah,
no, but
well.
seriously, please look past the title
Yeah,
and actually
yeah.
have a
I'm
listen
not
to it.
judging. I'm just saying it's kind of funny.
No, this is for the viewers, you know.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's very. I feel it conveys a lot. It conveys a lot of inner meaning as well as even a lot of reality. It does have kind of a sci-fi futuristic vibe to it, but it also conveys a
Yeah.
lot of realities that happen in our very world.
Right, yeah.
It's very indirect, but it does shed light on a lot of issues. Just affecting our normal lives. If you actually listen very carefully.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Look, so that's a part of a musical experience. So that's one of the things, like, and I think I feel like that kind of because I was starting to stray away from hip hop as well, because I kind of grew out of that phase as well, but it made me realize that hip hop is not just all about, like, you know, the typical things like inciting gang violence,
Yeah,
you know,
everything like that.
trying to score with girls, all that stuff, or
Yeah,
flashing money.
Pretty
There's
much, yeah.
If you actually listen to some different artists out there, they don't actually talk about materialistic stuff.
Possessions, yeah.
Yeah, they actually talk they actually shed to light, you know, certain realities that could very well happen in a world. Like, I mean,
For sure.
this particular album, this guy was thinking way into the future. I was impressed.
Yeah.
This is in 1996.
Yeah, right.
1996,
Okay,
man.
wow. Yeah, would have been pretty young then.
I mean, I didn't listen to it in 1996, but
Yeah, for sure, because we would have only been 3 years old back then.
I would have been too young to understand the meaning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Also, there's another artist. So I started listening to a lot of it's kind of like experimental music, which I've been listening to a lot growing up. There's another artist. There's another artist called Flying Lotus.
Okay.
So he creates a lot. He created a lot of these experiments. This again non-lyrical music, which conveyed its own meaning.
Sure.
If you listen to it carefully, like, it's kind of like glitch trip hop sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But again, it conveys its own meaning. I think one of the earlier artists. I don't know. You might have heard of him, Aphex Twin.
No.
Okay, so he's one of the pioneers of, like, experimental music.
Okay, yeah, right.
From the 90s. Aphex Twin, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's another artist. It's another artist I listen to. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Funny because I was watching this music documentary. They were talking about what's it called? Auto-tune. That's it. And how?
Auto-tune, yeah.
Yeah, you know the rapper T-Pain.
Yep.
Yeah, he's pretty well known for using
Yep.
auto-tune in his tracks. And I think he got a lot of like disrespect from it because pretty much all his tracks were him singing in auto-tune. And I think people kind of just, you know, didn't really respect him for a long time. and I remember he did a session where he actually sung for the first time without auto-tune, and he could sing really well. And all of a sudden, people were like praising how good he was. It's like, wow, this guy could actually sing and all that. So it's kind of funny to think that all this time he's kind of hiding under this, camouflage of auto-tune, and people were dissing him because, he was using that. And then when he comes out and can actually sing properly, people suddenly respect him, which is kind of funny.
I've always wondered why like people actually auto-tune. Like, I think like, yes, I'm actually going through the definition of it. Yes, I am.
You were looking up. Yeah, I was doing what you did.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be authentic. I'm just trying to be authentic with everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we want to know what I'm talking about.
I guess if I'm to kind of give my own reflection on it, like I would say that auto-tune. In a way, helps us to. I guess auto-tune. Symbolically, in a way, kind of covers up our weaknesses. We're not perfect people.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, I guess, for artists to have a perfect pitch or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of bias against it because, so many people use it to kind of cover up their terrible singing, as it were.
I think some people, like some artists, they actually they just don't even reveal their identity. Like, back to that Flying Lotus guy. He actually created a rapper alter ego called Captain Murphy.
Okay.
So he purposely kept his identity secret. People had speculated him. Around 2012, he eventually revealed that he was Captain Murphy.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
His music is, how do I say? It's interesting. It's deep, but it is very explicit. Like I'd say, I'd say a lot of this. It's very indirect, but but it does actually bring up a lot of controversial topics.
Sure. Yeah. I could imagine that.
They're very sexually explicit, actually.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
But in a different way. In a very
different
way.
Yeah. Sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the whole kind of making up a persona to cover your identity is a pretty common thing to do, especially, I suppose, if you don't want your identity revealed. I mean, you got bands like.
You also got to look at what you're producing as well. How are people going to receive what you're producing? Like, not everyone's going to be happy that you're making the music that you're making. Not everyone wants to hear that.
Yeah. And as soon as you've kind of released that music is like put on you, so everyone's going to look at that person and say that music, that person kind of thing, and whether you like it or not, you're always going to be branded by whatever music you've produced, I guess.
Exactly. It defines you in that sense, I guess. I mean, that depends on if you want to be defined by your music.
True, yeah. I mean, I know Sia was very, like, to keep herself to herself for a long time and try to kind of conceal identity for a long time.
But, really?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure when she first started out, because you know how she has a habit of always wearing that kind of wig that goes kind of down to her like nose or whatever, so it's always covering up her face so no one sees her. So she did that for a while, and then I think now she's kind of come out because I think she was like, she used to say she was very like afraid of the spotlight or something, or she didn't like being recognized. That's why she always used to do that.
Yeah.
And I know even before she came out, she did a lot of work for a lot of famous artists. So even before then, she was pretty well known, even though people probably didn't know her face per se. They just would know her lyrics because, you know, maybe she did a famous Miley Cyrus song or something that everyone knew.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, I feel, when artists do that, where they that sort of make songs for a living and then decide to kind of go into their own and make their own persona and do their own songs, I guess, rather than just saying, "Here's a song, Sia or Miley Cyrus, you can have this one," and kind of thing. So
The world, yeah. So I guess the world is your oyster, really.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, if you could make a living out of it, why not? I suppose.
Yeah. See, I think also it also kind of comes back to a certain point that I think affects our society in general, like anxiety,
Yeah,
mental health, really. Because think about it, you're producing. I mean, you really want to produce music, but also we're also clouded by a lot of judgments by others.
for sure. Yeah, it's definitely a tough world out there.
Sometimes this auto tuning does help in a way, like kind of I guess
To
in a
kind
way.
of masquerade your voice, as it were.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, say, that. Sorry.
All good.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm just trying to gather my words here.
Yeah, no stress.
I would say that. See, I would say that it. I would say that it. I would say it amplifies the side. It does amplify, I guess, the side that we want to see as well.
True, yeah. 'Cause I guess
One
it's
way or
easy
another,
to
I
do
guess.
that.
Yeah, but one way or another, I guess. I mean, people don't really see it, but like
Yeah,
your weak side, you are you're obviously covering up your weak side. Now, whether that gets portrayed through your music, that's another story.
for sure, yeah.
But I think people obviously they want to compensate for it as well. But
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
they want to compensate for that anxiety. But I think they still want to show what they've gone through. They just don't want to reveal themselves, which stems back to anxiety, I guess.
I mean, I feel like it'd be a pretty confronting thing to reveal yourself in that sense to the whole world.
No, think about it. Like, think about it. You could show yourself, but are you going to be happy if you're just going to produce music just to pander to the crowds when it's not, but it's not music that you enjoy?
Oh yeah, like what you really feel or whatever. Yeah, I could.
Yeah, exactly.
I could
Like,
get that,
yeah, it's like constant feel good music.
yeah.
Like, is the artist going to be happy doing that? Like they're just like,
True.
I'm just like I'm just doing the same thing over and over again just to appease to the crowds. Like,
Yeah.
why do I want to do this?
I mean, if they could get music across that, I don't know, helps. I think if they could get music across that helps people feel something, or like a song that gets them through a hard time, then I feel like it would be worth it, knowing that that song's helped this person, get through a tough period in their life, kind of thing. But also, I think if you put more heart into it and generally kind of express yourself, then people are going to appreciate that a lot more than if you just write a generic pop song, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, I'm saying sometimes distorting your voice and maybe covering yourself whilst you get yourself up and going is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. Just the way people react to it, I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the problem in this world. We're just clouded by judgments on what others think of us. We're just so worried about it,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice if you have an honest discussion about it, but yeah.
For sure, yeah.
It's the world we live
not
in.
always the case, I guess. Especially when you're in the spotlight. People don't want, well, I don't know whether people want a real, genuine person or they just want, a celebrity guy that they admire. You'd hope it'd be more genuine, but I think a lot of the time it's this kind of idolized pop star persona.
That is a really grey area, though. That's a really because
for sure.
I think people also want. They want someone they can look up to, but I think they also want them to be real, and I think that's a big part of why people look up to people.
Yes, yeah, especially even just like people that aren't in the music business. But yeah, I think people in the music business are definitely a very kind of common person people look up to, I think, especially when they can relate to their music.
Sure.
I mean, I remember, like, in the last episode, I was talking to Jane about Simple Plan and how a lot of their songs kind of got me through tough times when I was younger because I could relate to a lot of the lyrics that were in that song, like "Welcome to My Life." You know, I'm just a kid, life is a nightmare, kind of thing. You can really feel like, oh, I'm that kid who's, life is a nightmare. Even that might seem a bit extreme, but I think when you're a kid, it often feels that way. Especially when people kind of tease you and don't listen to you and everything and whatnot. But yeah. It's a tough world out there.
And like, it's interesting. Now you bring it up, like, I won't say I listen much to Simple Plan. Like, I mean, I kind of have my own view of, like, I may as well be real here, and it may be controversial to a lot of people here.
Okay, well.
I mean, I would say I've been fairly controversial this whole interview, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I feel like that. I like to feel this place would be a fairly safe place to share one's opinions.
Even if they're very controversial.
Yeah, well, there's always gonna be haters are gonna hate, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I never really listened to a lot of like rock or metal growing up. Like I always kind of. Sorry, I never really enthused to listen because I think. Also, kind of had this mindset like I didn't want to listen to what everyone else was listening to. Kind of one of the reasons I listened to trance because barely anyone my age was listening to it.
Yeah. Be different, be the outside the box person.
But as an adult, I actually grew to appreciate that stuff.
Mm.
So I actually really grew to appreciate metal. Like I actually like metal now.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like metal rock.
Yeah.
Even strangely enough, some that's screamo. So like I actually listened to. So on the topic of, if you want to go into electronic music, I listened to this thing called industrial metal.
Oh yeah.
I listened to that. So
okay.
That's again.
I've heard a few weird variations. I mean, I think Jada was telling last time about like a kind of country metal band. So I mean, there's quite a mix, I feel.
So this particular artist, this is a German band from the 90s.
Yeah.
90s, early
right.
2000s. KMFDM.
Yeah, right. I haven't heard of.
Okay, so a lot of the music's really interesting. Like, it talks a lot about politics and social justice. Actually.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
It's very politically motivated music.
Sure. Yeah.
Probably to make this interview user friendly, I'm not going to go into too much details about what it meant to certain other people.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. Because I think there are limits on what we can talk about.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, this stuff is like next level, so I wouldn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, well, we want to try and keep it kind of on the level.
I want to keep it child friendly. So I'm gonna. Anyway, all I can say is, it was a gateway to get me. It was one of those gateways that got me into metal music, which made me realize actually that metal music was another one of those kind of genres that actually. It made me realize that I view metal the same way as I view hip hop, because metal, like a good metal song, actually conveys like a deep meaning. Conveys.
Sure, yeah.
It conveys how do I say it? It was a so want to sound like a broken record here.
Oh, good. There's no broken records there.
So, like when I listened carefully to metal, I realized obviously I just dismissed it as just people just like, I used to dismiss it like that as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of perceive it to be that.
The thing is, there are still people who dismiss it that way, but I gave it a good listen and I actually realized when I listened to it very carefully, a lot of what I convey is so especially lyrics actually, I guess, kind of describes my own experience.
Okay, yeah, right.
You could even say my personal struggles, you know.
Sure, yeah, for sure.
It's what humanizes our experience with music, you know. I think, which
Definitely,
I believe is the centerpiece of our podcast today.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I'd say that's if like you want to talk about the music I listen to, like why I got into it, I would say mainly it humanized. I would say mainly why I listen to it is mainly because of how it humanized my personal experience with that music.
Sure, yeah. That's cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I think you would have gotten this response from a lot of people as well.
Probably, yeah. I mean, that's I guess kind of the aim of this podcast. I guess is to kind of convey that or similar.
It's not just humanizing. Like if there's even a song I learned something from, like I'm a person who values education. I highly value education. So anything that teaches me anything as well, I highly value.
Yeah.
So like I brought up the Cool Key. I brought up the Dr. Octagon stuff. It's a bit weird. It's a bit quirky, but it has a lot of science-based elements. So I learned something from it.
I think it's cool if you can learn something out of a song. I mean, I was thinking of that song Istanbul, which is, you know, talks about the fact that Istanbul used to be Constantinople, but now it's Istanbul, and that's you kind of learn a bit of history from that. Or Rah Rah Rasputin, you learn about, you know, Rasputin, who was this obviously corrupt dictator, or I think he's supposed to be like a religious guy, but yeah, it's kind of interesting that you learn about him through that song and how they try to kill him, and you know they tried all these things and he wouldn't die, and eventually. So yeah, I think I can appreciate when, you know, you can enjoy a good pop song like that, but you also learn something.
Oh, he's a Russian guy, Ruski.
Yeah.
Grigory Rasputin.
Probably I learn a bit about him in my history classes, but it's always fun to learn it in a pop song.
Yeah. No, like I find like that's the thing. Like I'd say like I enjoy a lot of like these. Like I enjoy a lot of these like these music with like these. That's what I find is a really underappreciated part of electronic music, which I think I'd really like a lot of people to explore.
Okay, sure, yeah.
I mean, it's taking me this long to get to it, but
well, that's okay. That's the point of the podcast. They stay to the very end to learn.
Save the best for last.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So basically, what I really want people to something to I'd say a real takeaway point you should take from this podcast is think about the high level of skill and detail you need to put into producing a good electronic track. You know, you could think it's just all like doof 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 and all that, but you got to look at the melodies and how it's produced, like what efforts people have to go into. It's not as straightforward as you think, you know.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of
you got to use specific software as well to produce the right.
It's not just like I'll just load up like some, you know, app on my phone and just go boop 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 boop.
See, that's the thing. Like that's the thing. Like technology has allowed us to develop things as simple as that. I mean, like that's one of the good things about like things like developing smartphones has made those things simpler.
Yeah,
But historically, like the work into doing it, like the effort required to do it was very complex, and also, people didn't need to have easy access to this stuff as well, like historically.
true. Yeah, it's only kind of recently, I guess, that we got a lot of the technology that we have. I mean, yeah, I guess even like before the 90s, electronica wasn't even a thing because I probably didn't really have the technology to make that kind of music back then.
Yes, it was actually.
Okay.
But it was very underground. It was very
Yeah,
underground.
and then I think the 90s is probably where it kind of surfaced.
Yeah.
That's where you get a
So
lot of the
because
classic
so
rap.
there's actually this clubbing genre back in the late '80s called acid house.
Oh, yeah.
Acid house. So it was very interesting. It's very interesting. Interesting genre. Always people just breaking the rules, having a fun time doing drugs.
Sure, yeah, classic.
Yeah. It was very popular in your country, actually, Britain.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not too familiar with that kind of scene, but
Funny because a lot of these people will be in their 50s now as well.
yeah. I mean, I don't know how old Fat Boy Slim is, but he's probably getting on a bit.
There was a time when they were young.
Yeah, a
Also,
long time ago.
I feel like honestly, like a good electronic song, I dare say it is actually better than like I guess any lyric-based
One of the
song.
pop songs, yeah. Fair
Like
call.
even just like a lyric-based song because it's very in depth. It's very in depth, and
Usually, yeah, most of the time.
and the thing is there's many layers to the meaning it conveys as well, and
Sure,
it's not even just what the music is tangibly trying to convey. It's also
yeah.
sorry for notifications.
That's all good.
So it's even how it's produced as well. Like
For sure,
they could
yeah,
even
a lot of work goes
they could
into
even
it.
have they even have their own story behind it. Like
Yeah,
I just feel like it's very how do I say?
I don't know if inspirational is the right word. In depth, maybe.
You could say inspirational. You can. Yeah. Yeah.
British.
What'd you say?
I thought
Did you say
I
British?
said no. I said in depth. I thought you said British. I mean, I always like even just like listening to that video about the sandstorm. It's just interesting to learn how the song gets made, what kind of elements get put into it, and then how it then gets distributed out into the world. It's always interesting to learn. And even I watched one about Blue Dabba Dee by Eiffel 45,
65, yeah.
65, and that was interesting as well. Just kind of learning how they make the song and then how it kind of goes onto different platforms and becomes famous. I always like learning about that kind of stuff and why the song becomes famous, and I guess the memories people associate with it.
Absolutely.
Always interesting to me.
Yeah.
Always like to learn the backstory behind those kind of things because I think it makes you appreciate the song that much more rather than just, I just like this song. But when I realise how much effort went into making the song, and maybe if certain circumstances hadn't happened, that song may have never reached my ears. It's good to know that, like, because of all those factors, I get to, those songs like Sandstorm and Blue Dabba Dee, despite how cheesy that song might be, but still a good track.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And I think it's got a bit of meaning behind it as well, because it's kind of talking about how blue is like the color of kind of like life can be not always the best, and it's like I live in a blue house with a blue window, like my life isn't really that great, but it could also be interpreted in a million ways, I guess.
You just actually kind of gave me another interpretation to it.
Yeah, you reckon? Yeah.
So blue. Blue actually, I think, kind of, I don't know, like, I guess it kind of describes how monotonous our life really is, and
True,
basically,
yeah, that's an interesting way
you
of
see,
looking at it,
you, you know,
yeah.
blue
I'm
collar work.
familiar with the term,
Yeah, so
somewhat.
like blue collar is like labor work, right?
Yeah, that's right,
So
yeah,
yeah, so fun fact for those wondering, actually. So the reason, so the term blue collar came to be because, so you know, like a lot of laborers, they wear blue because they're constantly covered up in like you know, like
yeah, but
dirt,
they're doing all the dirty jobs that all the rich
basically
posh folk
basically
don't
like
have to.
dust,
Yeah,
grime, whatnot. The point is, they wore blue because I guess in a way it covers up those stains, right?
yeah,
Covers
exactly. And
it kind of well, it masks the stains in a way.
yeah,
Now
but they're not going to show as if you wear like a white one or something.
yeah, so um, like, I guess in a way symbolically, now that you bring it up, that's a very interesting point. Like, I guess it kind of talks about, I guess, how much we struggle through in life just to survive, really.
Yeah, and how monotonous life can be at times, I
I'm
guess.
blue, da boo dee da boo da, and
Uh,
I'm blue.
it's always fun to muck around with the sentences that, what is it? All the different variations, like I beat up a guy or something, or I
It's funny
believe I
because
could
you bring up
fly.
like one side of our minds, like so we kind of look like straight people on the outside, but on the inside, we're just
Blue
this
collar
completely different.
workers.
No. Like, well, no, more like no. So more of like we just have this I guess we have this
But
urge to just want to do something different, you know, and just explore
yeah,
different things, you know.
stand out of the crowd, as it were, not be another blue person.
Um, I wouldn't exactly say that's the main intent. It's more of like
Sure, yeah.
you just want to do what makes you happy,
Yeah,
what
not
you want
what
to do.
society says you should do or whatever.
Precisely.
Yeah, very nice. I like that. I
Um,
mean, maybe that's a good note to end on, unless you had anything else you wanted to talk about.
um, that's about it for me. I mean, I'll save the rest for another episode.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I
I
think
think
we've
I
done
think it's
pretty well.
best. I think it's best. I think it's best sometimes. You know, it's good to, I guess, rather than dishing out everything at once. I feel like it's probably best that we slowly ease into it.
Yeah, probably a good idea, and I feel like we've probably hit the marker about now anyway.
Yeah, feel free to
Um,
edit any parts of these video if you wish.
yeah, we'll see how we go. I guess before we go, I'll ask you some of the questions that I usually, well, I'm going to ask, I guess. So, what is your favorite genre, album, artist, and song?
Okay, my favorite genre. That is a tough question. Favorite genre.
If you can't
This
pick
is.
one,
Am I
you
allowed to
can
go
pick
into a
multiple.
long? Am I allowed to go into a long-winded rant to get to the answer?
I mean, if you wanted to.
Yeah. Anyway, my taste in genre, they always change. But um, if I'm to pick a genre, if I'm going to pick my favorite genre, that would be I think just thinking.
Something electronic based, I'm guessing.
Hmm, I would
If
say
it's
ambient.
ambient, okay, cool,
Yeah,
nice.
ambient because I feel like it's a very versatile genre. You can listen to it anywhere.
Sure, yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you can listen to it in any setting. It wouldn't dampen the mood wherever you go.
yeah. I mean, each to his own, but yeah, definitely.
You're asking me my favorite artist, was it?
Yeah. If you could let it down to one, that is.
It's gonna be a while.
If it's too hard a question, don't feel you need to answer. I was just thinking it'd be a fun few facts to ask you.
I know an answer, it's just not coming to me.
Yeah. Otherwise, you could just say what your favorite song is, or if you got a favorite album.
No, because I can give you the artist and the single.
Yeah. Okay. It's not Lady, is it by Lady?
I like the song. I won't call it my favorite, but I like the song.
Yeah.
Shoot. I'm kind of going on a limb here.
Yep, stress.
Because it's hard for me to say if I have it's hard for me to say if I have a favorite song, but
yeah, I don't want to like that's your favorite
okay.
song. No questions asked kind of thing.
Right.
Just kind of spitball.
Yeah. Sure. Challenging by DJ Shadow.
Oh yeah. Cool. I'll have to check that out.
So, I don't want to drag on the interview too long. Do you want me to explain the meaning?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want, go for it. I mean, I feel like
that's sorry.
Otherwise, we could save it till next time. Stay tuned. You'll learn the secret behind Dewey's favorite song.
See, honestly, I don't really have a favorite song per se, but I'm just going on a whim here.
Sure, yeah. Like I'm not expecting you to like it be the end all, just kind of like first thing that comes to mind, kind of thing, I guess.
Sure.
What about favorite album?
Album.
Or artist?
Album.
Guessing not a compilation.
It can't be a compilation.
I don't see what's wrong with a well, I guess it's not as genuine as the real thing. Anyway. All good if you can't think of one. I could always let you think about it, and then you can get back to me in the next episode that you're on.
I think we'll do that.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thank you for joining me and teaching me about the world of electronic music, which I'm very unfamiliar with. I feel like my knowledge of electronic music is a lot better now, and I'm sure many people listening that don't know much about electronic music have a bit of broader range and perhaps might be interested in exploring a bit more. So thanks for that. Cool. What were you going to say?
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. You've been a great host.
Oh, thanks.
I look forward to doing more, potentially more interviews with you.
Sounds good. Cool.
Nice.
There's
more content. Make sure to like and subscribe his channel.
Thank you. I was thinking I needed to do that, but you've done it for me, so I appreciate that.
Like and subscribe, people.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, till next time. Thanks for listening, guys. See ya.
Shit. Bye.